Hi, it's Dorene Decibus from It Begins with Ink and Paper, and welcome to Fun Fold Friday. I have a lot of really fun things to share with you tonight, and I am really happy that you are joining me live or on the replay or on my YouTube channel to see what I have in store for you tonight. I'm going to be making for you a twisted easel fun fold tonight, but I just got a Stampin' Up order in, and I just got a couple of things I just wanted to share, and especially the paper because it's just so pretty, and I know how people love to see new products. So this is not so new. It came with the in the new mini catalog that had its debut on September 6th, so just about a little more than a week ago. But I just got this set in, the Winter Owl set, and this has been a set I have been just eyeing and eyeing, knowing that I was probably going to get it. And what really put me over the edge was I was at a stamping event last Saturday, and Barbara and Betty put together a lot of beautiful, beautiful, beautiful door prizes for us. And this was one of them. And look at this. Is this gorgeous? It's this little 5x5 shadow box that uses the whole bundle of the Winter Owl set, including the dies. And they used Night of Navy cardstock and crumb cake in the back. They used the Wink of Stella. I don't know if you can see that it just has so much shimmer. There you go. I think you can see it now. So much shimmer on it with the Wink of Stella. They embossed the background with the snow, the falling snow. Beautiful embossing folder, and then use the die cuts to make places for the owls to sit on or be in. And oh my goodness, I just love this. It just came out so nice, and it is what put me over the edge. And believe it or not, these frames are only 99 cents at Michael's. So just what a cute project that you can be making for Secret Santa gifts or for your loved ones or for stocking stuffers. That it's just such a great idea. So Barbara Lash, I love this. Thank you so much. So let me just move those two things out of the way. We have a brand new punch. And so all of these products I'm going to share with you right now are new products that are in our online exclusives on our website. So you're not going to find them in a catalog. You're going to find them on the website in the online store. So this is a brand new punch. It is a hexagon punch with just really nice curved edges. There is a matching stamp set. I didn't purchase the matching stamp set because I just have bought so many stamp sets recently, but I loved this punch, so I did pick this up. So be watching for me to be using this in samples for my card of the day and probably in some of my Friday Night Lives for Fun Fold. Now, the paper. Let me start with this top one. It is just unbelievable. I'm just looking on my shelf to see if I can quickly find the stamp set that goes with it, and I'm not seeing it. I must have it on a different shelf. I keep the stamp sets that I'm using currently right on my stamp shelf by my desk, and I forgot to grab this out of my closet. Oh no, I do have it. Oh, perfect. So this paper goes with the translucent florals, and this is just such a beautiful, beautiful set. It has that distinctive like stamping that when you stamp it, you get the outline of the images and shading, and it just is so nice. And this paper matches it. So let me just get my little knife, and I'll just open this up. I don't want to cut any of the paper, so let me do this on the back side. And why I have it on the back, let me just go over the colors that match. So this beautiful designer paper. Coordinates with Berry Burst, Blackberry Bliss, Bubble Bath, Calypso Coral, Fresh Freesia, Lemon Lolly, Parakeet Party, Pool Party, and Pretty Peacock. Oh my goodness, what incredible colors. So let me just pull this out a little bit so we can see both sides. It is just, oh my goodness. So on this side we have a beautiful floral image, and then on the back side we have the just a plain single colored image with the berry burst on this one. And then we have here all the leaves that match the set, and then we have the pretty peacock on the back. Oh my goodness, this is the first time I'm seeing it. Tiny patterns with the designer series paper and all those flowers, and then the Calypso Coral on the back. And we get 2 designs, and here we have bigger floral images and the Fresh Freesia on the back. More leaves and Pool Party. And then we have this beautiful pattern piece with the flowers, and we have the Parakeet Party on the back. So pretty. Now, what I have to do just really quickly, because I don't even know the answer to this, let's see if any of these dies fit. Okay, that's a little too big, so not on this piece. Let me try. That's too small. What about, there was a bigger design. Let's see if, no, it doesn't look like the dies fit. So that answers that question. But it coordinates beautifully with the stamp set. I'll have to check the other dies and see if they fit. But let me just move this one out of the way, and we can look at our next package. This is so exciting. This is the Shining Christmas 12x12 specialty paper, and Cherry Cobbler and Mossy Meadow are the colors that go with it. And this is the specialty paper, so you're going to see, let me just pull this out, that the paper is double-sided. One side has that foil look to it, so you can see that. And then the back side has a pattern in Cherry Cobbler for this one. So you have the trees. Oh, like I said, this is the first time I'm seeing it too. You have the presents with the Cherry Cobbler bows and ribbon and the Mossy Meadow background. And then we have a nice Cherry Cobbler and white background. Oh, here we go. This is a beautiful pattern as well with both the Cherry Cobbler and the, you can see this is also the foil side. And then we have some ornaments on the back side. Oh, look at this nice chevron pattern with both colors again. And then more Cherry Cobbler on the back side with some ornaments. And then we have some leaves and berries. And on the back side, we have a polka dot Cherry Cobbler. Oh, look at this one with all the candy canes. Can you see the, let me just bring it up a little closer to see if you can see those candy canes. They're so tiny and they just, oh, they're so cute. And then the Cherry Cobbler on the back. So all of the back sides of this are all Cherry Cobbler. And the front is either the Mossy Meadow, well, it's both the Mossy Meadow and the Cherry Cobbler. Beautiful, beautiful paper. And then the next one, I think this was the one I was most excited to get. This one is the Tartan Foil, and it's Copper Clay, Lost Lagoon, and Pebbled Cat. What a great combination. And let me just get this out so you can see it a little closer. This, oh, it's double-sided, and oh, both sides are glimmery. Oh, this is so exciting. So here's the Copper Clay. You can see that glimmer there. And when I turn it over, you can see it's Copper Clay with white, but it's double-sided foil. Oh my goodness. I'm so excited. There's only 6 pieces in this. So here is the Lost Lagoon. How beautiful is that? And then the other side, I'm not going to be able to decide which side I'm going to use. And here is the pebbled path, and the back side is the pebbled path. How gorgeous is that? Oh my goodness. And here's the other designer series paper that I was really excited about getting. And this is our silver and gold 12 by 12 adhesive backed glimmer paper. This to me is to die for. I'm so excited about it. So you get 1 piece of silver and 1 piece of gold, and it has adhesive on the background. So you can cut out your die cuts, and then they will just self-adhere to your projects. How cool is that? So very excited to have that. So if you want to get any of those products, you're going to want to go to our online store, and I will get you, I will put a link in the comments when I'm done with our live tonight. So let's get started on what we're going to be doing. Thank you for joining me tonight, and please make sure you say hello and tell me where you're watching from. You can share this presentation, that would be great. Like my Facebook page, any of those things, I would appreciate your support for my small business. So this is the Pick of the Patch photopolymer stamp set. And I was really torn. I loved Them Bones Suite, and I was really seriously thinking of getting that as a Halloween set. And my problem with Halloween sets every year, as much as I love them, I don't get much use out of them. And I have so many Halloween sets that I can make projects for my kiddos at school and for friends, and that I didn't feel I needed another one, even though I'm so torn about it because I love that Them Bones suite. But I loved this one in particular. So first of all, it is a bundle. I'm not using the punch tonight, but it comes with a punch. I actually demonstrated on Wednesday night. I did a quick Wednesday night hack. If you missed it, I showed how you can use our builder punches to punch out multiple, everything that's in the punch at the same time, based on how you stamp it, by making a template with the punch. And so check that out if you want to see how I made these 2 little cards. But tonight I'm not going to be actually punching with this, so I won't need the punch. But this is an awesome punch, and it gives you 2 sizes of pumpkins. It gives you a leaf and a stem as well. But in our set, we actually have 5 different sizes of pumpkins, another gourd, some leaves, some branches, a crow. We've got some stems coming off, everything. And you even have a Happy Halloween and a pumpkin face. So you can make this into Halloween cards. So it's perfect. So the stamps that we're going to use, it is a photopolymer stamp. So the stamps we're going to use for tonight's card, let's just get those mounted so I can show you. And we're going to actually be using a technique tonight of doing some masking. I'm doing masking with some Post-it notes. So we're going to be using the tall pumpkin. We're actually going to be using the tall pumpkin and the 2 smallest pumpkins. So we're going to be using 3 pumpkins for this card. Let me just find another small stamp so that I can fit everything on. There we go. So we've got our 3 pumpkin stamps. We're also going to be using, instead of using the leaves I used on these pumpkins, I'm going to use the other leaf in the set. So let's get another small pumpkin mounted, and I'm going to be using the small little curlicue stem, or whatever we want to call it. Let's see what else I have for tiny. Here we go. So we'll put that on here. And then the last thing, oh, we're going to use the crow, because we want to make this kind of fall-like, and crows are pretty fall-like. So let's get him mounted on a stamp. And then for the sentiment, I'm going to put, you're the pick of the patch. So let me just move the stamp set out of the way, and let me just mount this last one. I think it will fit on this block. Let me just make sure. Yes, it does. Okay, so we have everything mounted and ready to go. Let me show you the card we're going to make tonight. So this is the card. It is called a diagonal, it's a twisted easel fun fold. And the twisted easel comes from being able to lift up that side and having it rest along something that's going to hold it up. If I show you what it looks this way, you can see we have a place to write. If I open up the card like this, you can see that I cut my diagonal here, my square, into two triangles so that the fold wouldn't bother it, and to give you place to write, and then you've got a perfect view of the designer series paper. So let me just put this aside and we'll get started on making our card. So the first thing you're going to need for this card is a piece of basic black cardstock that measures 4 1/4 by 8 1/2. So this is a little smaller than we normally use. And what we're going to do is we're going to first score this at 4 1/4. Now remember, you don't need to be writing this down. I will post all of the dimensions in the chat afterwards. So I'm going to score that right at the 4 1/4 inch mark. And then what I need, and this is important that I have to think about this, I want to have the diagonal go this way from the top of the card to the fold. I don't want it to go this way. So I've got to make sure I am careful when I'm going to do this score line. So I'm going to take the score mark at the, let me just bring this up a little bit, the score mark at the center of the card. I'm going to put it right in my cutting space here, and I'm going to match that corner up. Make sure I don't use my cutting blade, and then I'm just using my scoring tool, and I'm going to score that because I want this to fold up this way. Okay, so that's all I need this for. So I'm going to put that aside for when we're ready to use it. The other thing I wanted to show you tonight, because I did some cutting ahead of time, and I used our new deckled circle dies, and these are amazing. It was something I totally missed in the catalog the first time around, and then I saw someone using them, and I was like, where did they get those? And then I realized they were in the new mini catalog. So these are our deckled circles, and let me tell you, they measure, let me just get my ruler on inches. They measure across. The largest circle is almost 6 inches. And the smallest circle is about 1 inch. So you have quite a variety that you can use with these dies. And I've been using them quite a bit lately. I love the deckled rectangle dies, and this is just such a natural die to have next with the deckled. So I cut a circle out of black and out of white cardstock. And to cut those, you need a piece of paper that's 3 1/4 by 3 1/4 inches to cut the black circle, and one that is 2 3/4 square to cut the white circle. You are also going to need a piece of black cardstock that measures 3/4 of an inch by 2 3/4 of an inch, and you're going to need a piece of white cardstock that measures. Oh, wait a second. I think I said that backwards. This is the one that's 3/4 by 2 3/4, and this one is the inch by 2 3/4. So they're the same length, but I want them to be able to mount onto each other. Then you're going to need some 4 by 4 inch squares. And so you're going to need a basic white piece, and you're going to need 2 pieces of designer series paper. And I'm using paper from Them Bones. We have this beautiful pumpkin and Cajun craze and black plaid. And on the other side, you have some tombstones. So that's the paper that I'm using. Now, we are going to keep one of these pieces just the way as it is for the inside, but I am going to be cutting the piece of white and the piece of designer series paper on the diagonal. So I'm going to bring my paper cutter out again, and I am going to match the corners up with the indentation where the blade goes, and I'm going to cut those 2, and then I am going to cut the white into 2. So it's an easy way to cut at a diagonal, and there we go. All right, so let's do some stamping, and I want to talk about doing some masking first. So if you look at the front of the card that I made, you can see that it looks like we have some pumpkins on the front and a pumpkin in the back. And we get that effect through masking. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my small pumpkin and I'm going to take my medium-sized pumpkin, and I'm going to take a Post-it note. So let me just move these out of the way. So I'm going to take a Post-it note, and the sticky part of my Post-it note is up here at the top. So as I get out my pumpkin pie ink, I am going to, at the top of my Post-it note, I am going to stamp each of these stamps. And the reason I'm going right at the top is I want them to be sticky. So when I use them as the mask, I'm going to be covering up a stamped image. So I'm going to take these and I'm going to quickly cut them out. And when I cut them, I do not want to leave a border around these. And it's actually even okay if you cut just a tad bit, not much, of the space into the pumpkin for your mask. We don't want big white spots around our last image that we cut. So the closer you are to the edge without leaving a border is much better than, and you might even be able to see there's just a wee bit of orange around on the note, so that it's going to sit nicely on my image. So what I'm going to do after this is I'm actually going to stamp these 2 images where I want them to be on that label that's going to go on to the front of my, on that white piece of cardstock. So let me just make sure I have this really close. There we go. So those are taken care of. And now on this, using my pumpkin, I am going to stamp these two images. So I'm going to ink that up in my pumpkin pie. I'm going to place that where I want it. I am going to place this just close but not touching. I'm going to take my masks and I'm going to cover up my stamped image. And I'm going to take my taller pumpkin and I'm now going to stamp right over everything. I lifted one of the notes off, and now you can see that that pumpkin looks like it's sitting behind the other two pumpkins. So that technique is called masking, and it's a lot of fun to do. And once you have a mask made, I suggest you just keep it in the stamp case so that you can use it over and over again. So we're done stamping pumpkins. I don't need my pumpkin pie ink anymore. I'm going to take my Memento Black and I'm going to add my crow to the front of the card, and he's standing in front of those pumpkins. So let's stamp him standing in front. So there we go with him. And we're done with our black. And then I'm going to use my leaf and I'm going to add this to two of the pumpkins. So I'm just putting that right on the front. And then I'm going to add my little curly Q with the green. And I think I might even have this going over the pumpkins. So there we go. So we have our image. And it looks great. I do have one more thing to stamp, and that's this little white label that I made. So let me put these stamps out of the way. We're all done with those. And I'm going to stamp this in the Old Olive ink. And it looks nice and inked up. So let me just lean over and push that. Perfect. I love it when it comes out so nice. So we're done with our stamping now. We just have to put everything together. So let me get out my Stampin' Seal. I'm going to add this to my piece of black cardstock. And what's really important with this is that we need to put some dimensionals on this so that we can have that place for the easel to be able to set up against. So there I've got 4 dimensionals on. I'm going to use my bone folder and I am going to start. That was a car outside. You probably heard that. I'm going to give it a nice crease. Now remember, no matter what, when you're doing a fun fold, you want those nice creases. So use your bone folder to get that crease. So now I have that nice crease here. So I'm going to start with this piece, and this is going to go right in the inside of my card. So let me add that adhesive. We're going to add it right here. I just love this pattern paper. And then I'm going to add it was the same size as this, but remember I cut it in the diagonal. So let me just add some adhesive along this so that it will stay in our card, and it will give a person a place to, or whoever makes this, if you're making it, it will give you a place to write your greeting. So I'm just going to line this up I don't want it to be crooked, and that's what it looks like. So if you take it off pretty fast, you can get it to move where you want it to. There we go. Much, much better. So there we have that piece, and now let me do the same on this piece. Just add that adhesive, and we're going to put it on this side this time. I'm coming right up to the crease, not going over it, but right up against it, because I want to still be able to bend that from the front. Okay, so on the front, I just want to make sure I'm putting my pieces on so that they match, so those make sure they're on the right side. So let's add our adhesive here. And so, again, I'm going to go right up towards that line and add it to the front of my card. I'm going to do the same with this piece. So much fun. And again, go right up to the crease mark. So there's just a little bit of black showing. There's the front of my card. And now what I need to do before I put this inside, I want to make sure that I'm lining it up with this on the inside piece. So let me just take the backings of my dimensionals off. And I'm going to open this to the way I want it to be. And then I'm going to put my piece in that way. So now I know that's going to stand up the way I want it to. So now it's time to put together my front piece. And this is going to go right on to my black piece of cardstock. And now here's the tricky part. I do not want this touching the top of this card. So I want it to stand like this. So I am only going to add adhesive to this back side. I'm going to put a little extra, more than I normally do, just because I know that it's going to have to do its thing. So I am going to, I just want to make sure I didn't get that. Put that on, and so when it stands up, it's going to stand like that. Isn't that adorable? We still got to put our bling on, but I love it. So let me just grab out. These are my classic matte dots. And let me just give you a hint. What I do is I take a clear envelope, and because I want to know what these are, but you can see, like in this package, I've used all the white and all the black, and I just have the vanilla and gray left. In this package, I've used almost all of the white. You can tell the white I really used a lot. I have a couple blacks in here, so I end up buying extra packages so that I can get the colors I want. I've got to definitely start using some different cardstock with these. And then I have, they're all together and I know exactly what I have, so I don't want to be that person that has 1,000 different packages and they're all over the place, so I just store them all in the same thing. So now that I've seen that I have a lot of gray and ivory, that's what I will be focusing on next. So I'm going to use the blacks off of this one, and I'm going to use my take your pick tool, and I am going to get a large one off the bottom and put right there. And then I'm going to put two small ones up here towards the top. Together, I like making that triangle. And our card is done. And here we go. Let me just review with you. It ends up being a 4 1/4 by a 4 1/4 card. It still fits in a regular envelope. You have that piece the diagonal that we put in to make it become a twisted easel card, and then when you open it up you still have a place to write on the inside, and you still get to see this beautiful designer series paper. So thank you for joining me tonight on the live. I see that there have been a few of you here. Again, make sure you say hello, tell me where you're watching from so I can say hi back to you, and thank you for joining me. Make sure you like my page, like the post, share the post, and you can always find the replays on my YouTube channel. So thank you so much. I hope you have a great week, and I hope you stop in Sunday night at 7 for Simply Stamping Sunday. Have a great weekend, everyone. Bye-bye.